everyone. It's Jeb Hamburger from GoldStockTrades.com. Today we have a special guest with us, Joe Hebert. Joe is CEO of Outcrop Gold, which can be traded as OCG on the TSX Venture. OutcropGoldCorp.com. You can get more information on their website. Thanks, Joe, for being here with us today.
Thanks for the call, Jeb. I appreciate talking. It's good to talk with you again. Well,
it's an important time. We're still in quarantine, many of us, just beginning down here in Miami to come out into this phase one. The gold market has taken off. The silver market is also broken out, and you guys right now are drilling a very exciting discovery at Santa Ana that I guess you came out with news in March. You raised money, and now you're continuing to drill this discovery. So, Joe, give us a little bit of an update on how Outcrop Gold is doing right now with everything with this coronavirus and what you guys have been up to.
Well, COVID, fortunately, exploration and mining were declared an essential business in Colombia. So our downtime only concerned getting reports in as how we were going to mitigate against contagion. And as soon as we had that into the appropriate departments, we were granted permission to work. So we started drilling again May 5th, I believe, and we've had the rig turning since. And it's our intent, if we can stay ahead on target advancement, to continue drilling through March 2021. And we're getting, what I consider exceptional results with respect to silver grades and gold grades. The silver grade's probably as good as anywhere in South America right now.
Talk to us about the history of this project. It's been around, you said, since the Spaniards were mining this?
Yeah, they have records at least from 1585, and they have records in the Spanish Royal Archives, and those have been abstracted into the University of Indiana, I think, libraries. And they, at the time of peak operation, they had 14 mines that averaged 4 kilograms silver per ton over 1.4 meters. That's, is that you've got workings that expose, you have workings all over the project that you're able to sample the veins in. So, millions of dollars of free excavation that primitive but accessible, that we have a good idea of where to drill and what that drilling might return.
So this is some of the highest grade silver in Colombia that has been discovered. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, it's without a doubt the highest grade primary silver, the highest grade silver period in Colombia. We have, like I say, I think the weighted average of our program right now is 2,500 grams silver with 18.9 grams gold over a meter.
Wow. So drilling has resumed. Phase 2 is 120 core holes, 13,000 meters, and it's going to extend all the way till first quarter of 2021. So that means that you're probably going to have a considerable amount of news flow over the next year or so.
Yeah, there may or may not be, shutdowns or standbys that would amount to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but that would only be if we don't feel like we're advanced enough to drill, frugally and properly. So I would expect basically assays coming out every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, through a good part of this year and into the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm sorry. We have identified almost 14 linear kilometers of vein zone.
14 kilometers. Wow. And these grades from the 9 holes that you delivered in March, or was that March that you delivered those holes from La Habana?
I think that's correct. Yeah.
You had about 9 holes, and they averaged a half a meter with 1,329 grams per ton silver and 21.7 grams gold per ton.
Yeah, and I actually think those vein widths are negatively biased. It's a narrow vein system, but in the case of those holes, I think 4 out of 9 holes hit workings. So we have two cases for sure where we had a meter, I'm sorry, 0.6 of a meter of vein and 3 meters of open stope. And another case where we had 1.8 meters of open stope and vein. So I think as we get below those primitive workings, that I can't imagine them going much deeper than 150 meters. I think we'll actually get a little bit higher average widths, more like approaching the 1.5 meters that the Spaniards were mining.
So really, is this a primary silver project? Would you consider this, or I know our name's Outcrop Gold, but I guess it's primarily silver?
Well, it is, but it varies tremendously. It's always been a silver project, a primary silver project with little mention of gold. But we're finding ratios anywhere from 800 to 1 silver gold to 4 to 1 silver gold. And I think what we're seeing is, and what the Spaniards didn't see, is there's natural alloys of gold and silver. On a volume basis, it's much more silver, but the Spaniards weren't recognizing in the doré they produced and shipped that you had a significant amount of gold in it. Overall, though, yes, the overwhelming amount of metals value will be in silver.
Most investors are aware of Outcrop Gold because it's backed by Eric Sprott, a billionaire junior mining investor. Could you talk to us about investment in Colombia? And other than Eric Sprott supporting Outcrop, do you think, I know Continental was just taken out by the Chinese in Zijin mining, but could you talk to us about who might be looking at these results, or who might be interested, or who is active in Colombia that's looking for these new discoveries, high-grade silver discoveries?
The high-grade silver, let's see, we've had Buenaventura. Yeah, Buenaventura talked to us somewhat casually. They haven't made a visit yet. It might not be our first pick for a company in there. We are talking. The other thing too is that we're going to drill this for a while before we venture it. Just because I think we can really create value for an agreement and really create value for a future disposition if we choose to do that. What we are seeing is, and it's been a boon, is Anglo Ashanti has sort of made an exit, and that's made all companies look they're looked on upon a little bit more favorably by the local communities. Anglo Ashanti was an empire. We're more a group of guys, that relate well with the communities. But we're also seeing Agnico Eagle has an office now. They've been 9 months, 10 months trying to put together a project, and they haven't yet. So we're having some casual discussions with them. We're having casual discussions with B2 Gold. We're having casual discussions with the newcos that'll come out of the purchase of Continental. I don't think we're in a boom yet in Colombia yet, but the majors are starting to sniff around again, and they'll make an entry through juniors, and there aren't that many juniors like us working in Colombia.
So you have one drill turning right now?
Yeah, we're gonna, and like I say, we're gonna do that. We're gonna have, we'll have over 5,000 soil samples and trench samples, We've just recently brought in a mechanical excavator, and we're gonna maintain one rig unless we really get to the point where we have targets way advanced of one rig. You know, a core rig will only produce between 25 and 35 meters a day. You know, 2 shifts. So if you get targets, we'll bring in the targets to justify it. We'll bring in another rig.
So in the last update, you noticed pictures of the veins, and it looks like big intervals of quartz sulfide veins in the first 4 holes. So 4 holes have been completed, and the 5th one's now in progress?
Yeah, the 5th one is probably going to be completed in 2 days max.
So there's a lot of news coming, assays coming over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we'll have they're in the lab. They've gone through the prep. They had to go to Canada this time instead of Lima because of the COVID situation in Peru, but they're on a rush. We should start getting assays into next week, for the end of the month anyway. And then we'll just keep putting them to the lab and getting the assays.
And the valuation of the company's still, market cap is pretty low, right?
Yeah, I mean, midday today, we hit 21.5 cents, which would have put us 16 million market cap. But it wasn't that long ago that we were, bouncing around at 3 and 4. So we've made Mr. Sprott a double.
That's good to hear. Hopefully this is just the beginning, because you just found this new system in March. Now it's just, and you just started drilling pretty much with those first results, and you pretty much hit it big the first time, and now we're on to phase 2, so hopefully we'll have some more good news. Could you highlight a little bit about people that are new to the story, about your background and where your training is in mineral exploration, especially gold and silver exploration?
Yeah, early career, a lot of the majors, Freeport-McMoRan, some contract stints with Barrick, a long hitch with Placer Dome, and that's a good place to learn the business. Placer Dome, my last, sometimes I refer to as my real job with a big company was Placer Dome, where I was the generative manager for about almost 700 square miles. Trying to take what we learned from Cortez Hills and Gold Rush and Old Cortez and the modern mines there, taking it outwards to try to find more. Then in 2005, I believe, I actually went to work for Miranda Gold, which was our predecessor, and subsequently we name changed and kind of rebranded, and new people, pretty much new directors, new management, and changed our name to Outcrop Gold. So I have experience with majors and then a lot of contract experience in various countries around the world, Mongolia, Mexico, and Suriname and places.
Well,
35 years.
35 years. So great experience with the majors. Hopefully it looks like we're drilling into a new high grade silver in Colombia. The chart looks very interesting from my perspective. Finally breaking above the 200-day moving average and the golden crossover of the 50-day and 200-day moving average for people that look at the charts, and a breakout into new 6-month highs on good volume. So people are beginning to learn about this story. Silver's breaking out. Outcrop Gold really drilling for high-grade silver in Colombia, backed by Eric Sprott. You can get more information on outcropgoldcorp.com to download all the latest news and presentations. And I expect a lot more news in the next coming weeks and months ahead. So thank you, Joe, for being here with us. Joe Hebert, CEO, Outcrop Gold, to be traded as OCG on the TSX Venture. Thank you so much, Joe, for taking the time and for giving us this update.
Thank you, Jeb. Happy to do it anytime.